And 1. Good evening. How are you? Yes, we're finally live. We're running a little bit late. That's okay. That happens in life. End of a long day. I want to talk to you about happiness. I want to share stories, and I want you to tell me your story. I want to talk about happiness because it's important. It really is the key to why we're even alive. Why are we breathing air? Why bother? So I'll see you in just 30 seconds. Our whole practice is based on getting you to be the best version of yourself.
Remove the crappy
Everything
foods.
we do is based in the medical literature.
We're going to look at how to get you healthy, not how to get you on medicines, how to get you off medicines.
Ah, you stayed with me. Thank you very much. Hey, I'm Dr. Gary Huber, and if you've never tuned into this little ditty of a video that we do, we run an integrated practice in Montgomery, Ohio, and we are passionate about your best health. We want you to be awesome and live long and live healthy and be strong. And we do everything to facilitate that, to get you off meds, to get you to be everything that you can be, all right? Everything you can be. I sound like the military now. Look, this is really important for me tonight. I just want to chat. I want you to tell me your story. I want you to phone in any questions you have, because we're going to talk about happiness. And that sounds kind of vague and trite, happiness. But, I could argue that the pursuit of happiness should be the sole pursuit of your life. That if you acquire and accomplish that, you'll have accomplished something phenomenal and fantastic. This is January. The month of January is our mind-body mission, meaning we started off January 1st saying, look, everybody does New Year's resolutions. Do something that means something. Do something that matters. Make a New Year's resolution, but put a plan behind it. Look inside your brain and ask yourself, why do I do what I do? And is what I'm doing making me happy? And that's what I want to talk about tonight. Because happiness is not a small, little trite topic. It's probably most people, if you ask them, what do you want to accomplish in life? Or what is your life about? What is your mission? Almost everybody, and part of that would be, well, I want to be happy, right? It's basic. It's basic. And the reason it's important to me is because whether or not you're happy impacts me. It impacts our community. Some interesting studies, I'm not going to get too sciencey tonight, but studies show that if I simply smile at you, you know what I just did? Whether you smile back at me or not, your brain recognizes a smile, and it begins to make neurochemicals that are associated with happiness. Neurons in your brain that link together to stimulate an emotion called happiness are primed and ready. So just by doing that, just by smiling at you, I made you more likely to trend toward happiness. What if I grimaced? What if this has been done in a science study, what if you saw me getting zapped by an electrical probe and you saw me in pain? Guess what? Your brain would begin to prime neurons because you recognize that emotion, and you would be more inclined to feel pain. The neurotransmitters associated with that would begin to flow. Isn't that crazy? And literally, this is true. When I smile at you, when your barista gives you your coffee and smiles at you, when you smile at others, it sends a ripple-like effect to our community. So literally, you and I learning to be happy and learning how to conjure up our own happiness is really key to the happiness of our community, okay? And your community involves your spouse and your kids and your neighbors and your coworkers. So literally you can have that ripple effect. On a Thursday night, I'm sitting here with my friend Jordan and my friend Chris, and yes, we're having a little bourbon because we're just sharing the company of each other, and we're enjoying that, we're celebrating that, okay? And I want to talk about happiness. Now here's is this happiness? Is a cookie or a glass of bourbon or a good meal, is that happiness? And I would argue it's not, all right? It's a pleasure, but it's not happiness, because this is key, and you're going to leave tonight knowing this from the inside out, that happiness is conjured inside of us. We make our own happiness internally, and then we bring it out and we share it with other people, okay? Bourbon and cookies and candy and sugars and massages are pleasures. There's things that we take in, right? And we don't share them with other people, right? We take them in as a hedonistic pleasure. And there's nothing wrong with that, but that is not the same as happiness. Now, leading up to this, and a little promo I sent out earlier, I think it was yesterday, I said I'm going to tell you 2 stories. Story of Sam and my own story, okay? And I want to hear your story. Sam is a friend of mine, and Sam isn't always the cheeriest person, all right? And I was talking with Sam not too long ago, and he'd gotten a promotion. And I thought, that's awesome. And he goes, yeah, but he was lamenting all the extra hours that was going to be demanded. Because of his new promotion, it was going to demand more of his time and more of his hours. And he was seeing the dark side of that, right? He was almost manufacturing his own misery. Something good had happened to him. He'd earned it. But he was struggling to see the happiness inside of that. And I said, you don't seem very happy about it. And he goes, well, the money's good. I got a new car. I got a new Lexus. And in Sam's mind, that was going to make him happy, getting that car. And then he went on to complain about that the bucket seats in the Lexus are kind of constrictive. He's got big shoulders and he can't quite fit his shoulders into that car. And so he wasn't happy with his Lexus that was supposed to bring him all this joy. And I finally looked at him and I said, Sam, it doesn't sound like you're really enjoying this new promotion. Are you happy? Are you happy in this promotion? He goes, well, it's going to allow me to retire a little bit earlier. I'm going to retire in about 5 years, and then I'm going to be happy, because then I'm going to be able to focus on my golf game in my retirement, and then I'll be happy. Again, I'm going to be happy someday. And this is common. These are some of the things that I see all the time. And he went on to say, and you know what? Happiness is overrated. You're either born with it or you're not. And in that one story, I think about Sam, because in that one short discussion we had, he listed the top 3 myths of happiness. I will find happiness in things, right? This glass of bourbon, that Lexus, this chocolate cake. Things bring us happiness. They don't. They never do, they can't, and they never will. I'll be happy when is the second myth. I'll be happy when I have this, or I'll retire, or my kids get married, or fill in the blank. And we put this date, this vague date out there that someday we'll be happy when this happens. It's not going to happen. That's not where happiness lives. Happiness doesn't live in the future. It only lives in the present moment. And the last thing that Sam demonstrated was this ideology that we think that happiness is either you're born with it or you're not, that it's genetic. And it's not genetic. You are predisposed to it based on your experiences in your life. But that capsulizes many things, because this is why I like this topic so much. I see people all the time. I saw a woman today, in fact. Her name is Joy, which is ironic because she's anything but joyous. And she was lamenting all the problems that she was having. Health problems, significant problems. And they all factored back into the fact she has no energy, so I asked her about sleep, and she goes, well, I can't sleep because of all the stress. I said, what stress? Well, back in April, I was in a car accident. Now, we're talking about April 2018. It's now January 2019. Back in April, I was in a car accident. And there was no long-term effects from that car accident. The car accident is long over, and she's not suffering from any ill effects from that. And then somebody in her family died back in 2018. Wasn't a terribly close relative, but somebody died. So there's that stress. And there was one other thing, and I can't remember what it was. Oh, it was, she said, well, the parental code, which is you can only be as happy as your least happy child. I'd never heard that before. Said a different way, as a parent, if my child isn't happy, I can't be happy. Baloney. I cry foul at that. I can't be held accountable. And by the way, she's 60. Her child is not a 12-year-old. Her child is a middle-aged adult. And she can't be happy if he's not happy. No, he's a grown adult. You can generate your own happiness. But it's amazing, isn't it, how many ways Sam and Joy have found a way to stop themselves from being happy. So here's the key. Here's the truth. Happiness comes from the inside out, all right? I'm going to demonstrate that for you. Watch this. So, hey, hon, can you send in my co-star here? So it's true about happiness. Happiness doesn't happen in the past, doesn't happen in the future. It can only happen in the present moment, right now, right this very second. We can choose to be happy, and happiness comes from the inside out. I can't give you anything or do anything or tell you anything that will make you happy. Let me prove that to you. I'm going to bring, hey, Bobo, come here. I'm going to show you one of my favorite entities on this planet. This is my boy. So this is Bo. Say hello to Bo, all right? Look at that boy. Look at that tail. That tail is always going, right? This is my guy. And so and here comes Violet. Hi, Violet. She's with us too. This is a happy guy, right? Let me ask you this. Can this dog make me happy? Can he? You would say, looking at my face, heck yeah, right? But not really. Bo can't make me happy. Notice what I just said a little bit ago. When you smile, you prime somebody's brain to smile, right? Bo is always happy. That tail is always wagging. He's just happy to be touched. He just wants to be in your lap all the time. Does he make me happy? No, but he primes my brain for happiness. And if I choose to, I can let happiness bubble to the surface and experience it, okay? What if I'm rushing through the house and I've got things to do and I got things on my mind and he's underfoot? Am I primed for happiness? Can he make me happy? No, he's in my way. Notice how I can choose my emotion, right? So people and things and cute puppies can prime us for a certain emotion, but we have to generate it and allow it internally. What if right now as we sat here, yeah, I know, you get the doggy voice. You know the doggy voice, right? Yeah, you got some big boy. What if right now I heard a clang out front and it was some hoodlum knocking my mailbox down? Would that make me angry? Do I have the right to feel sad or mad? I have the right. Do I have to? I don't have to, right? With any of our emotions, it's a choice. It's a simple choice. I can choose to be happy because Bo preps me to be happy. I can be upset or angry because somebody did something to my mailbox that made me unhappy. But I don't have to engage in that emotion. It's a choice. Just like Sam has a choice. He can love his Lexus. He can love his new promotion. He can love everything in his life. It comes from within. It comes from inside out, okay? It isn't something that somebody gives you. You know, I use this example. If I gave you $1 million, would it make you happy? You'd say, well, yeah. Yeah? Look at all the articles of people that have won the lottery. And a year later, they're not happy. They're miserable. And half the time, they're broke, right? Things don't make you happy. This is wonderful news because this means at any moment in time, you and I can conjure up happiness through gratitude, right? I'm grateful for everything in my life. I'm grateful for Chris and Jordan being here. I'm grateful for my Bo. I'm grateful for my patients. I'm grateful for my wife and my kids. And as long as I rest in that gratitude, I innately and easily conjure up happiness from within. And you can too. No matter what's going on with you right now, no matter where you are, what happened in April or any car accident, you could have had a car accident this year and lost your leg. That's sad. Does that mean you have to be unhappy? It does not. There are too many people. Look at that crazy guy with the artificial legs who was in the Olympics, right? Yeah, I know. His ending wasn't good. But the point is, at any moment in time, you can generate that. Now, I promised you 2 stories. I promised to tell you, look at this. This dog will sit here for as long as I will let him. That's a happy guy. I promised you 2 stories. Told you about Sam, and I want to tell you about myself. Yeah, I'm going to tell you about me. Because you want to go? Do you want to go? You want to stay? Because for 20 years I was in emergency medicine. Let me tell you a little bit about emergency medicine. In the ER, about half of the people that come into an ER don't need to be there. That's been shown in studies. They don't need to be there. They have nowhere else to go. Or they're there because they want something. They're not there because they're having an emergency. Go get them. They're not there because they're having an emergency. They're there because they want a medicine or they want a work excuse or they want this or they want that. And as an ER doc, it doesn't take too many years before your brain is primed to look at everybody that walks through the door with skepticism, with the eye of, what do you want? What are you here for? Do you really have a problem? Or do you just want drugs? Do you just want a work note? Do you just want something out of me, right? And so when you're in that environment, and much like Sam's job, by the way, was to look for problems inside of businesses. So his brain was primed to find problems, right? So it's kind of a negative existence. And so it can be with an ER doc. You become very calloused, you become very crusty, and you look at people with suspicion all the time. And I could sense that in me. And I could sense that that was becoming a part of my personality. I didn't like it. I didn't like the way that I acted in my off time out of the ER because, again, it was that crusty personality. And I began to view and judge people, right? In our mind-body mission, we talk a lot about the ego and how we judge people. And that is the opposite of happiness. If you're judging somebody and worrying about what they want or worrying about the past or the future, not in the present moment, you can't experience happiness. So I don't want to belabor this too much tonight. I wanted to open up some ideas about what happiness is. And I want you to leave the night knowing you generate your own happiness internally at will at any point in time. You want to explore that? I encourage you to. There's a book by Matthew Ricard called Happiness. Matthew Ricard's a brilliant man and a brilliant author. And I really recommend you read that book, okay? If you're struggling with happiness, if you can't generate your happiness, you know what commonly I see? I can't be happy because of the following 27 reasons, and people want to list off why it's impossible. You don't understand. You don't understand my life. You don't understand why I'm so sad. Look, I'm not taking that away from you. At any point in time, you have the right to feel miserable. You have the right to feel sad. You have the right to feel pissed or anxious. You have that right. But I hope tonight you recognize it's a choice. It is a choice. And at any moment in time, you can instead turn from that thing that's making you angry or anxious and toward things that you're grateful about. And if you'll rest in that gratitude and you allow happiness to come from within out, you'll notice a difference. You'll notice I am capable of generating my happiness anytime I want. All right? So I gave you what I promised. I gave you 2 stories, told you about Sam, told you about myself. I shared Bo with you. I know, you're welcome, right? By the way, that's a Woodle. People all say, what kind of dog is that? It's a Woodle. It's a Wheaton and a Poodle. Yeah, I know, right? And as hairy as that dog is, he doesn't shed. That's amazing. We have 2 Woodles. They don't shed. They're walking carpets is what they are, and they don't even shed. That's what's so amazing, and they're the happiest creatures on the planet. They're awesome. So I hope I generated some questions in you, and I hope I've generated some conversation. Chris, as I take a sip of my lovely rye, what do you have for me?
So, at your practice in your own personal life, are you looking to stop working, retire, to go live your life and truly enjoy it? Or really, what does that look like? What does your day-to-day life look like?
That's a great question. Am I looking to retire so that I can go enjoy my life? I enjoy my life to the fullest right now, right today, right here, right with you. I don't have to do this. It's 8:25 in the evening. I don't have to be doing this. I do this because I love what I do. I love you. I love my community. I love my friends. I love everything around me. We had a staff meeting this morning, and we spent just a few minutes, everybody sharing something about their personal life and their work life that was good news. And part of my good news that I shared with everybody is I felt so fortunate to be in that room with those people in that environment, because we get to change lives. We get to reach out to people and have an impact. I don't ever plan to retire. You're going to have to fire me from my own practice, because what we do, it's just an extension of who we are. It's reaching out to people and caring, and it sounds really hokey, but it's a really loving environment. It's joyous. It truly is fun. So no, I have no plans to ever retire. May I slow down as I get older? Maybe, but then I don't plan on getting older. So, you know, it's a break even on that. So no, I'm not really looking to retire, and I love what we do. We love what we do. Our office is committed to that. Very passionate.
So, we all have stressful lives. We're all very, very busy.
Mm-hmm.
And within that, it's a lot of us, not enough of us get to truly enjoy our work, but for those of us that do, that can also be trying or taxing at times.
Yeah.
What are some ways that we can take a moment in our day to really kind of reset and really just try to focus on, that enjoyment of life?
I'll tell you what, you mentioned a very good point. A good friend of mine, Chuck Proudfit, is a wonderful, wonderful man. He runs an operation here in Cincinnati and actually across the nation called At Work at Purpose, or At Work on Purpose. Sorry, Chuck. And the whole idea of that is to take your faith and your Christianity or whatever religion you have, whatever connection you have to mankind, take it to work with you. Don't go to church on Sunday and then be, a major pain in the butt on Monday. I mean, Sunday and then be a pain in the butt on Monday. Take it with you. And he's the one that told me, he goes, 70% of people go to work and hate their job. I can't imagine what it'd be like to go to work and hate your job. I get that it's there. I get that not everybody loves what they do. But here's what you can do. And literally, I know this to be true because I've seen it at every level. I don't care if you work in a factory job, or you're an administrator, or you're middle management, or you're just the lowest grunt on the totem pole. you have the opportunity to be grateful for that job. You have the opportunity to be grateful for your benefits, to be grateful for Bob who works right next to you, or for somebody at work, or for something there. There's something there to be grateful for, right? And we can easily pick out, well, my boss is an idiot, my coworkers are mean, and I don't like this. You can do that. But at any moment in time, if you're not lucky enough to be Chris where you work at your own business that you love and you're passionate about, or you're not Dr. Huber where you get to do something you're passionate about. Look, at one point in time, I didn't necessarily like what I did. I loved emergency medicine, but after 20 years, dude, it was a grind. It was not a happy place. I would argue that the ER is one of the most contentious places on the planet, right? The patient sure as hell don't want to be there. It's an emergency room. The surgeon you called in at 3 a.m. doesn't want to be there. The nurses often act like they don't want to be there. It's a place where nobody really wants to occupy. But in that environment, you can choose to plug into the energy of your coworkers and make it something that's enjoyable, right? And you can do that too at your job, regardless of what it is. I don't care what you do. There's something about it that you have gratitude for. The fact that you get a paycheck, or that you have benefits, or that you have coworkers. You can find something to feel grateful for. And I agree, you can choose to be miserable. You can choose to be bitter. You can choose to be angry, but be real with yourself. You're in control of your life, and no one else is. No one can tell you how to feel. I'm your boss and I can tell you what to do, but nobody can tell you how to feel. And you have the choice, right? You have that ability to decide that you're going to do it with a joyous heart, the heart of a servant, the heart of somebody who is enjoying their time on this planet. And it comes as hard news, I think, sometimes when you first hear that. I'm not asking you to accept it in the here and now, but hear it and think about it and roll it around in your brain tonight and tomorrow and the next day. And see if maybe there isn't a sliver of truth in what I just shared with you. For me, it made all the difference, right? I was that bitter young man. I found fault in everybody, and everybody was responsible for why I wasn't happy, and that was baloney. And when I looked at myself in the mirror and decided I'm in control of this dynamic, and I can change this at any moment in time, my life exploded into something far more joyous. Okay? So, what else you got, Chris?
All right. So what are you selling? Like, all I hear is all this jabber about all this stuff. So what are you
Jabber?
What's the point here? What are you really getting at?
What I'm getting at is you need to be happy. And if you're not, you need to find out why. You need to question yourself. I'm not selling anything. I don't make money doing this. This isn't about money, right? You know what this is about? I care about my fellow man. I care about my community. I care about you. And most of the people that I see in my office are miserable because of their own direction. They are making themselves miserable, right? Because of this, because of what they believe. They contrive that the whole world is working against them, or that their spouse is not working with them. Or we come up with all these excuses. So my point in sitting here tonight, other than I like sharing time with Chris and Jordan, is I need this message to get out. I need my patients and my friends and my community to know that if you're making yourself miserable, own it. Own it and begin to change it. Because when I come and see you, I'd rather look at a happy, smiley face. I don't need this, right? Nobody needs that. And too many people are walking around making themselves miserable. So that's what I'm selling. Be happy. And if you don't know how to be happy, look, we did a 6-hour mind, body, mission course. 6 hours of me yammering with slides and information and a booklet. And if you need that, that's why I made it. I made it because it can change the way you think, it can change the way you function, it can change the decisions you make on a daily basis. If any of this resonates with you, or at least makes you raise an eyebrow and go, that's interesting, call my office and say, I would like that mind, body, mission course, please. All right? 6 hours of content and a book. And all that is intended to do is make you think about where you are and what you're doing. Can I think of it differently? Can I do something maybe ever so slightly differently? Can I reshape what I think about the world and about everything around me? You can. And if you do, the reward is joy and happiness and calm and control of stress. Because stress is just internal bullshit, right? It's just boiling over of things that really don't matter. You're worried about stuff that happened months ago, like Joy was, or you're worried about things that may happen in the future and probably will never happen. And the only place you can feel happiness is right here, right now, in this moment, in this day. And if you haven't taught yourself how to do that and how to focus on that moment, you're missing it. And every day matters. Every day counts. Tick-tock, brother. Tick-tock. So take control of your life. If any of this is curious, call my office, area code 513-924-5300, and tell them I want the Mind Body Mission course, right? And we'll be happy to put you in touch with that information. And it could change your life. It could change the way you look at everything, all right? So maybe I am selling something. I'm selling that course. Well worth your investment of time, okay? Chris, any other thoughts? We're good? All right. Hey, look, I hope this was helpful. And if you're watching this because yesterday you were in my office and I told you to watch this, this is why. I want you to take the line that I'm throwing you and begin to reel it in and make yourself feel better, right? It all starts from the inside and comes out. I wish you well. I wish you a happy evening. I'm going to finish my rye with my friends and call it a night and go pet my dog. All right? I'll catch you later. Take care. Bye now.